Yes, we're back with another rider, another episode. Today we're honoured to have Don Roy Khan. Sounds like a Genghis Khan name, so he's probably doing great things.
I feel like I have a part of his genetics in me somewhere.
Okay, well, 3 out of 10 people do in the Asia, in the Far East or Asia.
There you go.
But before we get into that, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share or follow, depending what platform you're listening to us on. So tell us, what is it you do, and how long you've been doing it, and how did you get into that industry?
First of all, I just want to say I love your life.
Okay, that's good.
What I do, I work in the film industry currently as a focus puller. And
What's
then as a focus puller, the job of a focus puller is, to put it simply, the person who keeps your subjects or your actors in focus.
Okay.
And that is, it's taken some time to get to that level.
Really? So wait, so you got your camera lens,
Yeah,
and do you have it on manual or automatic?
it's all manual. All manual.
And so your job, you just swivel the things and make sure they're always in focus regardless of the angle.
Yeah, I turn the focus ring on a lens,
And then you
to put it very simply.
Yeah, and then you're actually taking the photos, though, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I'm pressing the record button.
Yeah, it's video, isn't it?
It's video. That's right.
Okay.
But, you can imagine like a single camera, for example, has up to 4 people assisting it. So these are, substantial pieces of equipment that's worth hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So, you need the manpower. There's a lot of responsibilities that goes behind it, which is why you need multiple people for any one camera.
So you've got the person who's pushing someone along that track, and you've got someone who's holding the cables.
Well, I don't know. Do you really want to get into detail with
No,
this?
just building up a picture. The reason why I'm building up a picture is so people can understand, because also when we do the episodes, like we do these interviews, it's so a younger person can understand what you do and they can make an informed decision whether it may be an industry they would want to get into.
I hear you. Okay.
So we're just sharing the love.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But today you said it was a bit of an uneasy day, to put it nicely. What happened there?
I wouldn't say it's an uneasy day. It was actually a very easy day compared to most other days.
Okay.
I was talking to my loader, which is one of my subordinates, I suppose, or someone who works under me, and we were having a conversation about working in the fashion industry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my work, I don't specifically work in the fashion industry. I work in TV drama, feature films, commercials, music videos.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing about this career is that it takes you to places that you would never find yourself, hanging out. So today was this really fancy hotel, and it was a fashion shoot where we were sort of interviewing these supermodels who are. The interviews weren't really in-depth as such, but they were just to get a flavour of their character, their personality, and who they are in a very vague manner.
Was it a bit like a Miss World interview? Well, what do you want? Well, peace. Or more in depth than that?
It was more sort of, we were trying to draw out more intimate kind of things about how they feel about their personality and who they are and what they represent, kind of thing. That sort of a vibe.
And was that successful?
I mean, I'm sure it was successful for for what they were trying to get. But I want to talk about, me being a working class person, coming up from a world where I'm not really in that world of money and class and all of that. So interesting, this job, it takes you to places where people are from a completely different place. And sometimes it's really refreshing. But other times, like today, it was like, you guys are just in a completely... You guys are living in a cloud.
So Just to ask you, the models haven't all come from money, have they? they've worked their way up, haven't they?
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and say and talk about. I don't know these people personally.
Fair enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I can't comment on that. But you know, you hear them talk, and you hear them talking about. You hear them talking, and you can feel that they've got a really beautiful life. And
Yeah. So I've interviewed
I
quite a
don't
few
know.
models.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, they do have a fast life when they're successful.
Mm.
But I see what you're talking about, the money. So
Yeah.
today I interviewed a guy, well, I had a conversation with a guy, and he's a kitchen fitter.
Okay.
He does it for billionaires.
Okay.
And he fitted a marble floor, a marble island, just a service,
Yeah.
and worktop. Guess how much it came to? You get free
I'm
guesses.
gonna say 65 grand.
No. We're up. You gotta
Okay.
go up.
95.
I can't go up.
200 grand.
No, it's 170,000.
Oh, 170,000.
I had to ask him, I said, what's the square meterage of that? I need to know. I need to know. I don't know why I need to know, because I ain't got that kind of money for a witchy kitchen service. And I said, is that in a castle? Did you build that in a castle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to Scotland. I was taking, well, I didn't take him to Scotland. I was taking him to his yard so they could go to Scotland
Okay.
for some rich person. And that was a Russian's kitchen in Kensington. So
Okay.
someone's got a kitchen worktop worth 170k.
Okay. Okay.
From marble from Italy.
Interesting. Interesting.
So you said it took you many years to get to the point where you are today with the focusing.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into that industry, and what was that journey like getting to that point?
Okay, I'm gonna try and put a long story short. Ever since I was a kid, I knew I was always good at art. I really loved art, and I studied a bachelor's degree in something called digital film and screen arts, where it explored like photography, CGI, animation, traditional filmmaking, so on and so forth. That then led me on to working in the lighting department for a little bit, and then I moved on to camera. My passion was always to become a cinematographer, which I hope to get there one day. And yeah, I mean, the camera department right now, I worked my way up as a trainee, a loader, and now a focus puller. This is a more of a sort of what's considered in the industry a traditional route.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to do that. You can become a cinematographer from, you know, the day one. You call yourself that, whatever. But it's kind of fluid and very complicated all in the same time, because there's so many different levels to it. But sorry, you're gonna have to help me out with another question. I feel like I'm getting too vague.
Don't worry. What's the thing you know now that you wish you knew when you had started in your industry?
The thing that I know now that I wish I knew when I first started is confidence, you know, charm and charisma, and being free and being open and being myself. I think when we're young people starting in any industry, it's often quite, you know, filled with a lot of anxiety and self-consciousness about, you know, about being the wrong way. And like, you know, growing up, as you get older, you kind of let go of a lot of those anxieties. And I wish that I had more of that. But like that only comes from experience, man. Like, yeah. And I know that's not career specific at all, what I'm saying. And I feel like this is,
just let it flow.
yeah, I feel like this is universal. In like, I feel like everyone would say this.
What industry was your parents in? Were any of them creative?
Well, okay, so I am an Asian man of color brown from Bangladesh.
Oh, Bangladesh, okay.
Yeah. So if any of your listeners know any sort of South Asian people, you know that most South Asian parents, you know, they have a child and they're like, my son's gonna be a lawyer, my son's gonna be a doctor and barrister and lawyer, you know. So my parents had no respect for when I started to work in the film industry until I started making money, and then suddenly they were like, oh, this isn't a hobby. I was like, yeah, I was trying to tell you, but
Well, that's just a culture difference, isn't it? You're born here, I take it.
No, I was born in Bangladesh.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I was 9 when I moved here. I moved into Devon in the world and dealt with a ton of racism. Like, let me tell you that. Well,
Was it like, did you have to fight a lot?
I got into so many fights trying to defend myself, man.
Do you have a lot of siblings?
I got 2 siblings. Older sister, younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
But like, you know, I don't know, can I tell your listeners that you're a person of colour?
Yeah, big
you know,
black man, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had some experiences, you know.
Yeah, if people insult me, they have to insult me directly to my face in the sense of, I'm trying to beat it. I have this thing where someone, you know, some people, usually middle class, they will insult you indirectly.
Mm.
And then like the next day I realise I've been insulted. I mean, where's
Right.
that person? I should go and bash them.
Okay.
But it's too late. But if someone says something directly, like balls out, then yeah, I could just bash them.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah.
It always results in bashing them.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But most of the time people do it indirectly.
Right.
And I don't realise until it's too late in that respect.
Right.
But, yeah. But you're saying, so life in Devon, so you moved to Devon, could you speak English when you moved to Devon?
Badly.
Ah, okay.
So, interesting conversation I have with my very good Indian friend often is how growing up for us in this country, we had to force ourselves to have a really nice accent. And my accent changes, like I don't know how I'm sounding right now, but like
Very
if I'm
good
talking
English.
to like a posh white person or someone, you know, someone who has a really nice British accent, we know what that sounds like.
Yeah.
I will adapt to that. I call myself a chameleon sometimes of accents. I will adapt my accent to match theirs, because growing up in a place like Devon where, you know,
Can you
there's
do that
all white
farmer's
people, I can't do a farmer's accent. They actually have quite a nice accent, you know.
Okay.
Not everywhere has that. It's more sort of rural places in Devon where they have like real raw farmer's accent.
Did you find, sorry to interrupt there, but
No.
did you find that the racism, I found there's different kind of racism. There's racism where someone just doesn't know better and they're saying things and they're not being malicious, but it's like, it's inappropriate, why would you need to say that, blah, blah, blah. And there's racism where you can see someone's trying to be really offensive. Did you find you get more of the first case in Devon, or was it just a mixed bag?
It was somewhat of a mixed bag, but in the same time, I want to say a lot of the experience that I had was very much like, they were in their mind, I felt, for me, that they knew that they were trying to be racist in order to hurt me,
Okay.
whether that's physically or emotionally. It was intentional.
Apart from your siblings, was there anyone else up there who's of colour?
Honestly, no. Like, I lived in a village of like people of like 1,000 people of population.
Ooh.
Like, do you know what I mean? So,
Good at all.
but like when I went to school, I'd have to take a bus that was like an hour to the next town, next big town, and you know it would pick everyone up on the way. There would be like numerous like little small villages, and the bus would pick people up on the way to take you to the nearest college or the nearest like school and whatnot. And you know, secondary school, I was the only person of color. When I went to college to do my like NVQs and A levels, I was the only person of color.
Did you ever ask your parents why on earth did they move to an area where you're the only people of that colour?
I did, yeah.
And what did they say?
Well, my dad was the one who moved to this place, and he moved here to Devon because it really is one of the most beautiful places, you know, that exists. I mean, most countrysides
What,
in the
in
UK.
England?
Yeah, in Devon, where we moved, it
Oh,
was a
yeah.
place called Linton and Lynmouth, and it was beautiful. It was on Exmoor, one of the national parks, and he eventually brought the family over. And this is also like, you know, my POC friends, like I speak to them and they're like, this is like a typical story, you know, like our parents, they brought us over hoping for like a better future for their children, because, you know, England is like the place where everyone goes to get a better education, get a good job. And Yeah, I mean, I remember reading a book where they were talking about in the Caribbeans, they had a similar kind of culture where like people saw pictures of the Queen and they were like, oh, what would it mean to like move to
England.
move to England to like, you know, meet the Queen one day and like get a better education. And like in Bangladesh, it was like the same kind of story. Like my family back at home, man. Like my mom's got 9 siblings. My cousins, everyone there is like, oh, they must be like so wealthy. They must be so rich. But I'm just like I'm not. I'm just.
Yeah, you're just trying to make
They
it.
think of me as like, you know, this guy who like makes like bare money, but I'm like, that's really not the case.
Would you go back to Devon to work there?
Nah, fuck that. No, I will go there for like a weekend to like just enjoy myself and the beach and the nature. But
Your parents are still down there?
no, my parents are here now. I've actually got a son who actually lives there
Okay.
in Devon. His mom is a white British.
So it can't have been that bad.
Well, I mean, that's a whole other story, man. Having a child at the age of 19 was...
Oh, is it? I was 19 when I had my first child.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, my son's 28 now. He's got children.
Oh, okay, nice.
Has your son or daughter got children?
No, my son is 12.
Oh yeah, you're younger than me.
But that's a whole other story of like having an Asian family and getting a white British person pregnant.
In Devon. And how did that community go? How did that go down in the local community? They didn't want to get upset and lynch you.
Oh, you know, that's probably a conversation I don't want to get into.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough, no
Yeah.
problem. We're coming to the end of the journey now.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to have to round it up. It's been very informative. What would be your advice to someone who is 16 and wants to get into the industry you are in now?
That's really tricky because, yes, okay, film school is one route in, but I would speak for 70% of the industry who would turn around and say to you that taking a bachelor's degree, taking a master's degree is not the way forward. It is, you don't need anything on like a piece of paper to say that you can do this job. You can get into this job straight away. Unfortunately, you do have to know the right people. You have to make the right impressions. But you just have to like care, I think. And the hard part is getting to know the right people to get your foot in the door. But once you do get your foot in the door, like it is simple. You don't need education, but education is an option. Most people I meet in this industry, they say education was a waste of time for me. I wish I'd been doing this, you know, while I was studying or like, you know,
like apprenticeship kind of thing.
Right. But it is hard to just, you know, get to know the right people.
Okay.
That is a frustrating part.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, thanks a lot for that.
Yeah.
We've come to the end of the journey. It's been very informative
You're welcome.
and stuff. If anybody wants to find you because they want to use your services, like we get a lot of influencers here and all those kind of things that need to make videos.
Yes.
Where are you? Are you on social media?
So I'm particularly keen on employing POCs, women and non-binary people and even disabled people.
Okay.
So if any of those kind of fit your category, feel free to get in touch. Be happy to like, if I can't help you out with work, then at the very least, I'm really open for just like having a conversation if you're down.
Okay.
So I think my Instagram is probably the best place. Instagram is, sorry, I need to check what my Instagram is.
Oh, no way.
I'm checking it right now, one sec.
Well, for the listeners out there, his Instagram will be put on the link down below, so feel free to have a listen. And apart from that, thanks a lot and we wish you well.
Thank you.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channel. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.